for what's coming, because we're making a major societal shift, right? Trump is shifting everything. So he's shifting the trade winds. He's shifting the power dynamics. He's going to shift how we're talking about biology and gender, that kind of stuff. That's going to be a big deal. He's shifting the judicial system. And one thing that we're going to have to shift back to is the idea of the nuclear family dynamic. This is a cultural angle that can be aided by government means. In some respects, government can incentivize this stuff. Okay. Oh, great. Look, perfect. I talked her up. We've got Sam Sorbo on the line. I want everyone to please welcome to the show Sam Sorbo. She is an education freedom advocate, an actress, a speaker, radio and podcast host, homeschool mom, and the author of Parents' Guide to Homeschool, Making Education Easy and Fun. Sam, welcome to the show tonight. I'm Kira, filling in for Stacey, and I'm so glad to have you.
Oh my gosh, it's so lovely to speak with you, Kira.
Are you there, Sam?
Yes, I'm here. Can you not
sorry.
hear me? Hello?
No, I can hear you now. My headphones came off of my head because I was so excited to welcome you. I literally knocked them off my head. So,
it's lovely to speak with you, Kira, and I think we should get back to making education easy and fun, because that's what it should be. And I'm so sad that the schools have made it so onerous and awful.
Well, I want to talk to you about this, Sam, because I have been batting around this idea in my head. I've been writing a little bit about it, but this idea that we need to sort of re-normalize sort of traditional thinking and old thinking. And one of the things you talk about, you don't make it a secret, you think we should just exit the public school system altogether.
Good to see you, bud.
And I wasn't always an advocate for that. In fact, I ran for my school board 2 years ago, but I'm not so sure that the system can be saved. We've seen states start the school choice train, but you say that education can be done at in the home easier than people think. I don't think people understand that used to be normal for America.
Well, yeah, the school experiment has only been going on for about 120 years, and it gets worse basically every year until now we have schools that are trying to tell children that they can actually change their genders. So here's the problem. The problem is that the schools aren't broken. They're working exactly as they were designed to work. And so there really isn't a, quote, fix for the schools, but really the fix is get your kids out of the institution. Healthy children should not be institutionalized, and healthy children are born curious, and your job as a parent is to harness that curiosity so that it drives their learning. It's really not more complicated than that, but what happens in school is children who go into school really curious, they want to learn all kinds of things, are told to sit down and shut up and wait for permission to ask a question, because that might not be what the teacher wants to talk about right now. And that is death to a child. That is the death of their curiosity. Shame on the schools for doing that.
Well, I love the way you put it, and I think we're living out the consequences right now of the death of curiosity. You are absolutely right. I want to talk about this article you wrote at The Blaze this week. You title it, Elon Musk Takes His Child to Work and Away from the Woke Mind Virus. And you talk a little bit about how Elon was bringing his kids to his youngest son, X, to the Senate, and how he was getting some criticism for that. And you say this, I just want to read this. You say, maybe Musk recognizes that protecting one's children, not outsourcing their values to a broken system, is a fundamental duty. Maybe he sees the cultural rot in American schools and wants no part of it. Or maybe he just loves his kids, which used to be considered normal. And I don't think, talk about that a little bit, Sam Sorbo, the idea, because Elon has a school, by the way, everybody. He has a school at SpaceX that he set up for his kids and the employees there for this very reason. But talk about how I don't think people think about it like this, Sam. We've outsourced the moral development of our children to strangers at this point. And I think Elon bringing X around makes that really clear.
Right. So we've outsourced the moral development of our children to the government. And the government is morally corrupt. And so we're seeing that today. So here's the problem. In our schools, they do have a value system. The value system is college prep and career readiness, which means money is your highest value. That means integrity, honor, and everything else fall by the wayside because money is the number one motivating factor. And that's what we're seeing play out in our politics today. We see politicians who, the minute they get to Washington, they abandon all the values that they had on the campaign trail because they're only interested in the almighty dollar. And so my point is, education is a lot more than academics. Yes, they trained us to believe, they brainwashed us to think that education was purely academic.
I'm missing a lot of the
and
chat.
I want to get away from that. That's why I wrote Parents' Guide to Homeschool, is to train parents a different way of thinking about education so that they're thinking about the whole child and they understand that they are an integral part of that child growing up to be a competent adult, not somebody who has memorized a bunch of facts and figures like the school wants, but somebody that the parents actually want to have a relationship with. This is about preserving the family. It's about preserving freedom.
Yes, Big Taco, that happened here.
Fostering those long-term relationships
Crazy.
that we also desire. We know that we want them. Nobody's gravestone ever said, "Oh, I wish I spent more time at the office." But our culture has adopted the values that are taught in our schools. And so we need to get away from that. And the only way to escape that is to keep your kids out of school. Now, I wanted to address what you started with was that Elon Musk was bringing his kids to him. He brought his kids to India to meet the Prime Minister of India. He's not afraid to just bring his kids into the room. We need a culture that emulates that. We need to be engaging our children in our lives as parents.
Hey, Toe.
Because that's the best way to train your child.
I'm just heading home.
Is to show them what adults do.
From
and trust me, the kids want
downtown Toledo to White
Your
House.
kid wants to be just like you. Why are you depriving him of that opportunity, right?
So good. Yeah, so good. And I really want to drill down on this because I've been thinking a lot about this. We got away from normalizing the family, and now we're like, families, whatever you make, it's two moms, it's two dads, whatever. And it's created this chaos. And one of the things you talk about in this article, where, by the way, we're talking to Sam Sorbo, she's the author of The Parents' Guide to Homeschool, Making Education Easy and Fun. One of the things you say in this article is you talk about the value of seeing children in public with their parents, with adults. And I feel like we're in this era where it's a weird conundrum, Sam. It's like, on the one hand, we're supposed to give children the most deference. They're supposed to be able to decide if they can be a boy or a girl. They're supposed to decide the most intimate details. But then on the other hand, we exclude them from all of the hard things. We don't want them to work. We pass laws so they can't have jobs. We pass laws so they can't be in certain areas of public, or, we're not including them. And there's this whole social media, I'm child free and loving it genre. And I think seeing popular figures like Elon or the Vance family with their children in public, I think it signals something. What do you think?
Well, I certainly hope it does. I hope it encourages, first of all, I hope it encourages young people to start having families earlier. We need to get back to that. And I think that we as a culture, look, this culture hates children right now. We hate children. We abort them and celebrate it. We put them in gender clinics, cut off body parts, and call that health care. I mean, we infantilize children. That's what the schools end up doing. That's why we have all of these kids graduating from college, unable to hold a job, much less have a career, in full debt, not able to understand fiscal responsibility, unable to basically, they can't even perform as an adult. That's why we have a new word. It's called adulting, because it's such a foreign thing to them. And my plea is that parents take over the education of your children. You are more than capable. And if you get Parents' Guide to Homeschool, I will show you how. And you can have the family that you never dreamed of because you were never shown that it was possible. And I can't tell you the number of people who come up to me and tell
Hey,
me you
everybody.
can achieve this.
I'm just
Either
heading home.
based on hearing me speak or based on other
All
homeschoolers
good.
that are out there, and understanding that this is something that the school would willingly rob you of. They want to steal your children from you. And why? Because they want to have sex with kids. And we really have to face that as a culture.
It's a weird
There are
time.
people out there who are just having sex with children. Just recently, in my neighborhood, I live in South Florida, we had a school superintendent who was molesting his own grandchildren. And the principal...
Yeah, I'm a little sick. Yeah.
And no one
Yeah, I picked up a cold yesterday. I think I'm getting over it now. Thanks, Big Taco. I appreciate that.
Access to your child. Do not allow the internet access to your child. Let's get back to this value of protecting our children, because they are our greatest resource.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. In fact, when you said because they want to have sex with children, I know that might sound harsh to people, but here in California, which I know you're a former resident, we're, debating the sex trafficking bill.
I've been trying to get over it, but yeah, it's creeping up on me. I feel better now. I'm just coughing it off right now, and the voice is a little bit fucked up, but yeah.
And that was their bill. It was their own bill. They didn't want to include 16 and 17-year-olds in the bill, and they actually went to the mic in the legislature and said if we include 16 and 17-year-olds in these protections, then they'll get in trouble when they want to pay each other for sex. That was their argument. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Yeah, I'll grab some honey when I get home. From the wife. I'll get some honey from the wife and from the nectar. You know what I mean?
And everything else that falls into that spectrum. Allowing men to pretend to be women and take away women's trophies in sports? Come on, people. But honestly, I don't know why we don't declare the Democrat Party domestic terrorists and be done.
I feel like we're close, Sam. I am going to have to let you go, but before I let you go, I do want to press you a little bit about homeschooling, because I am so on board for this mission, and I think more families can do it than think. But one thing I know when they have questions about it, what's your response?
Let me play this.
We don't use the Admission Nurse Teams account. Can we change that to the name of Male Detox, and I can assign certain threads to that account? Do you want to reply?
No. No.
Okay then.
Have no idea what they're talking about. They just think they can't. And the reason they think they can't is because they went to school and they learned that they couldn't do anything that they hadn't expressly been taught by a teacher and given a gold star for. That is what schools do. They debilitate people. And it makes me so
Dude, my AG1 usually does it. He usually takes care of it.
So willingly. I am unable. I am unable. I am unable. How dare you denigrate yourself like
Last
that?
night,
I think you're more capable than
last
you
night
think
was
you are.
miserable,
And I
I'll
don't
tell you
know
that.
you, but I know that you're capable of doing a lot because God gave you your children, and He already factored in your stupidity. You are capable of loving your child enough to make
Yeah, I'll be
sure that
sleeping
your
on the
child
couch tonight
gets
just
the
so I don't have to
information
leave the wife
and
up all
gets the
night.
education that he deserves. And there are plenty of resources out there for you. Now, for parents who say I can't afford it, again, you have no idea how much it costs. You know, it costs less than $2,000 a year to educate a child at home. It's not a lot of money. It's a little bit of time. It's like an hour a day for the adult. It's like an hour a day. Can you afford to spend an hour a day with your child? And by the way, parents who go, well, I can't spend that much time with my child. Like I can't spend 8 hours a day with my child. Believe me, your child doesn't want to spend 8 hours a day with you either. You give the child some homework to do. The child goes and does the academic work, and then the child comes back and you check it and you know wash, rinse, and repeat. It's really not rocket science. But I know that the educators have convinced us that they are so necessary. They had 13 years to convince us how necessary they are. And shame on us for believing them, right?
Amen to that. Yes, absolutely. And yeah, and the other thing is that you're gonna like your kids. Like, that's the other thing.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, I think it makes me sad to hear women say, "Oh, I don't think I can spend that much time with my kid." Then I think you're the problem, Ben, not the kid. You know, you should be raising a child that you and other people are delighted to spend time with. Not that every moment is bliss, but I'm just saying, your kids aren't monsters, and if they are, that's a you problem. Yeah.
But we have a problem because the kids go to school, and at school they learn that their parents are secondary, that their parents are not authority figures. They learn a lot of negativity surrounding their own parents. So when you take a child out of school, you need to let the child decompress from all of the nonsense that he's had come at him in school. And so there's a transition period that has to happen. It's not going to be all joy the very first day, but you can get there. I believe you can get there. I've seen it happen. I've seen kids who were almost lost come out of the system and get homeschooled, and they are found again. And it just takes the time that it takes. But the parents who say, "Oh, I don't have patience," I mean, seriously, since when do we go around bragging about our lack of virtue? That's just terrible. If you don't have patience, you should practice it. It's a learned skill. It is a skill, and it can be learned. And I believe in you more than you do that you can learn that skill.
I agree 1,000%. You know what, Sam? My last kid is graduating this spring, so I've got no more kids to homeschool. But if I did, you would have convinced me to get back in the game. Thank you so much for all the work you do out there. Before I let you go, tell people where they can find out more about
Sorry,
you.
guys. I'm just trying to navigate.
SorboStudios.com, and you can look up my books and all the films and everything. And I love this. This is my mission. I want to see families thrive. I've seen it work. I've seen it work in strange cases, in hard cases. I've seen it work. So if you just put a little confidence in yourself, you can get Parents Guide to Homeschool, and it will show you how.
I agree. Well, thank you. God bless you, Sam, and you and your family. Stay safe out there. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Kira. Great to speak with you.
Thanks, Sam Sorbo. You can find her on X at @BSamSorbo, wife of Kevin Sorbo, Hercules. Yes, that's Sam Sorbo. All right, we need to take a break. Don't go anywhere. I'm Kira Davis, filling in for Stacey Washington, and you are listening to Stacey on the
I don't have my earbud in, so I'm not hearing the chat. But yeah, good time. Nope. If it was 35 here, I'm doing 38, and people pressing me, they're like, all right. I am 10 miles from home. If I make it there, I get apparently unlucky. Green light means you go. Go, motherfucker. Okay, now we're on the freeway. Not even doing the speed limit. Alright, get the fuck out of the way. There you go. Move.
Stacy on the Right with Stacy Washington by Sirius XM Patriot 125.
Welcome back, everybody, to Stacy on the Right. It's Wednesday, Hump Day, May 7th. It's Wednesday, May 7th, 2025. My name is Kira Davis. I am filling in for Stacy Washington today and tomorrow, and I want everyone to know that, yes, I voted for this. I still feel strongly about that. Somebody made a comment on my, this is sort of not funny, but whatever, it's radio. I gotta talk. I'll tell you this story. You may have already heard it if you follow me. You may have heard the unfortunate news that my own mother broke up with our family over Trump. She's Canadian. Canadians took it really personally. There's other issues there, obviously. If a grown woman can, estrange her family over politics, there's got to be other things going on there. But this was sort of out of the blue, and it was just really weird and sad and tragic. And certainly hurtful, but it is what it is. I say all that to say that I mentioned it briefly on my Facebook page, and a liberal friend of mine then made a comment like, are you still glad you voted for Trump? And I didn't even respond because I thought, gosh, is this fellow actually asking me if I wish I hadn't voted for Trump so that my mom would still love me? I think the answer is extra yes. I'm glad I voted for Trump. I mean, seriously? If someone's love, if my vote is going to be held hostage for someone's love, no, I don't want it. Yes, I'm glad. I'm sad.
Hey, I don't know who's still here, but update. I want to be at the courthouse on Friday for the guy that did the road rage against me. I'll be in the courthouse there recording. So we'll see. We'll get some good video there.
Speaking of pains, here in California, our carefully coiffed governor, Gavin Newsom, is making. He's been putting on a defense against the fires since January, and one of the things you've seen his podcast, he launches supermarkets. One of the things that he's also doing is launching a fact-checking site for the government, a fact-checking branch of the California government website. I mean, just to put those words all together, fact-checking California government, feels ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But that guy got his ass handed to him in January, and he's never recovered. Yeah, he's out there, trying to smooth things over as best as possible with his little podcast, and he's doing his publicity tour. But believe me, everybody, from outside of California, you might be worried about his reputation being repaired inside. But trust me, it is irreparable. Everything he does makes him look worse. So as I was talking to you, the government in Sacramento launched a fact-check website called CaliforniaFacts.com. And this is how the governor frames it. We just launched a new site to call out the misinformation machine that consistently spews lies about California. The misinformation machine. What is that machine? Because listen, folks, I live in California. There is no conservative right-wing California media. There's no Republican media. It doesn't exist. There's barely Republicans in Sacramento. Democrats have the supermajority in Sacramento. and in our media. Part of the reason why you think Kamala Harris is so stupid is because she is stupid, because when you grow up in California as a politician, you never have to answer for anything. You never have to answer any hard questions. You never have to tell anybody anything about anything. You just throw out a lot of $10 words in the sycophant media, flick seals, and everyone moves on. I don't know who he thinks that the misinformation machine is that spits out lies, except his own mouth. But he can't help himself. I wouldn't have expected him to say anything else. He says, we're the 4th largest economy in the world. Okay, excuse me, so what? So what if we're the 4th largest economy in the world? Who's it working for? You can't buy a house here unless you have generational wealth. If you want a house in one of the decent areas of the state that's not a desert, you're starting at close to $1 million, maybe $750,000. Maybe. But you're not living near the beach for $750,000 for sure. Like, you're not living within 20 miles of the beach for $750,000. So maybe $750,000, but closer to $1 million. If you want to live somewhere where that's not the desert, you're looking at $2 to $3 million. I just got my local real estate listings today, a little flyer that came in the mail. Yeah, we're looking $2-3 million for houses in my area. It's crazy. So he keeps talking about we're the 4th largest economy in the world, but no one can afford to buy a home here unless you're already rich. Jobs are hemorrhaging. In-N-Out Burger, a California staple, just moved their headquarters to Texas. I think Boeing moved out to Texas. Starlink moved out to Texas. We're hemorrhaging everything, and he's bragging about this 4th largest economy. It means nothing. It means that Japan's economy is tanking, which pushed us up in the rankings. And it means we have a lot of people that live here. 40 million to be exact. He says, we're done letting the trolls define the Golden State. We're going on the offense and fighting back with facts. Okay? Facts. Okay, great. What are some of the facts that Governor Newsom has to give us? Let's see. Oh, okay. Well, I'll go back and look at that link. Here we go. CaliforniaFacts.com. All right, false claim. I'm now reading from the site. It's CaliforniaFacts.com. False claim. People are fleeing California. In fact, our population is growing. Okay? I can respond to that. Yeah, it is growing. He's right. More people are coming in that's leaving. Now ask the immigration status of those people. Fact check. LA Fire Department did not have to recruit from the general public to fight wildfires. Okay? Fact check. No, LA fires were not deliberately set to hide secret pedophile tunnels. Yeah, that's on this. That's a real headline on this site. It's real. Fact check. Firefighters did not use women's purses to fight fires. Fact check. Actually, they did. Because we all saw the video of firefighters grabbing a woman's purse to put some water in it to put out they were totally out of water. Fact check. California did not run out of water while fighting fires. No, California's smelt fish policy did not lead to the LA fires. False claim. California isn't raking the forest to control wildfires. California did not cut firefighting budgets months before LA. It's all just... It's like a 12-year-old girl responding to gossip claims. It's all just, no, we're not, you guys, we're not as bad as you think we are. Here's a fact check to prove that. It's almost too childish to discuss. It's almost too ridiculous. First of all, that fact check site, if it was going to be of any use, should have been up in January, like the day of the fires.
All right, guys, I'm going to go live with area scan. So, you guys will be able to jump in there and we'll discuss that shit. Yeah, it's been a weird day. I will say this. And we'll discuss some of the election bullshit that happened here. I'm sorry I haven't responded to text. I don't have my earpiece in, so I'm not seeing the texts as they're coming in. I've seen a lot coming in. I've seen parts of it. And I'll respond to that. I do love you guys. I appreciate you coming in. But yeah, the mainstream will be live within an hour. And we'll have a discussion about all this. Love you guys. I'm going to kill the stream now.